And welcome to the Southeast Iowa Union News Break. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. Top stories: city officials have sped along with approval for planning and zoning of a possible quick visit urgent care location in Washington near Walmart. Those involved in the process said they needed to close a deal by the month's end. Our clients have told us if they cannot close on the sale of the property by the last day of August, that it probably won't happen, said Richard Boardwell, an attorney representing Palm Development Company, at the last city council meeting. From the time you approve it, it has to be filed at the courthouse and processed there, and that takes a few days. We can't just come in the last day of the month, have it approved here, and make that deadline. The Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council held special meetings on August 19th and August 23rd, respectively, in an effort to move that item along. It will not stand in the way of that closing, but I will have to wait on the final plat to go through the proper procedure, Mayor Jaron Rosine said. The moment it does, I can reach out to council. The final plat passed with unanimous approval from all those present at both meetings. Boardwell said that the facility would be finished before the end of the year, assuming everything went to plan. We appreciate the cooperation the city has given us, Boardwell said. There's a lot of people involved in this, so it's a lot of coordination. Looking at Wellman now, the Wellman City Council granted permission to the city's public library August 15th to pursue a major building expansion. Now, library officials say they're gearing up to take on the hurdle of fundraising for the project, which would be more than double the building size. Wellman Schofield Library Director Aaron Campbell said the new space, repurposed from the adjacent city-owned section that once housed the Goodwin Senior Dining Center and Alternative Learning Center, would meet many library needs. The list includes extra shelving, a private study room, an on-site programming area, accessibility for people with disabilities, storage, and an employee workspace. We can't really continue to grow at this point. We've kind of reached full capacity where we are, Campbell said. We're trying really hard to be a community center here. Where we have all ages come. It's just hard to facilitate those things because of our size. It's hard to have that many people in here. The cost comes in at a hefty $832,000. While the city made plans for renovations totaling $500,000 around 2018, that project didn't go through. Campbell said while the new project would cost more, it would do less than the original blueprint. We're trying to be good stewards of the money and not doing things with the money we don't need to. If we were to do the same blueprint that they created then, it would be almost $1 million. So we had to then redo that original plan to bring that number down and save money, but also be able to provide all the services that we wanted to give to our community. If it goes through, renovations will take the library from 2,500 square feet to 5,890 square feet. The high price tag is mostly due to the condition of the adjacent property, which he said was not safe for use as is. There's mold and it's just been neglected for too long, Campbell said. There's water coming from the floor, and we can't just break a door into the wall. The floor is not level to our floor. It would be a foot drop, and it's a large load-bearing wall, so we can't just cut into it. Over $200,000 has already been raised, roughly half of it from the allocation of municipal funds, according to Campbell. The rest will come from a mix of community donations, which are tax deductible, and as well as Staff Hope, a grant from the Washington County Riverboat Foundation, which they've applied for. There is a sense of urgency for the renovations. Campbell said the library's maximum capacity shelving and limited space were getting more pressing as well as use of the building grows. It's important that we do get it soon, or we're going to have to start weeding some more books or cutting some more programs or trying different things, she said. It would just be harder if we didn't get it sometime in the near future. We had over 100 kids for the summer reading program. We have regular people who come in for events, 10 to 15 each week in a back corner where there's only 3 or 4 chairs. We don't really have designated spaces where we can have events versus regular operations. That was our top stories. It is now time for obituaries. Jason R. Schwartz of Rome passed away on August 24th at the age of 42. Funeral arrangements are pending at Kimsey Funeral Home in Mount Pleasant. Teresa Marlene Kutkampf of Washington passed away on August 23rd at the age of 78. Memorial services will be held at 11 a.m. on September 10th at Ferncliff Evangelical Free in Wayland. Marcy C. Goad of Marengo passed away on May 20th at the age of 97. A private celebration of life will be held later this year. Alicia Naylor Goring of Fairfield passed away on August 23rd at the age of 61. Celebration of life will be held in San Francisco. Mary Ellen LaCourciere Johnson of Washington passed away on August 24th at the age of 64. A celebration of life will be held at 2 p.m. on September 9th at Beatty Funeral Home in Washington. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we will have the weather and sports.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
Hello and welcome back to the Southeast Iowa Union News Break. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. We have some football news coming up, but first, the weather.
The weather is brought to you by Jacqueline Ariola, LLC.
Come visit Jackie in her new location downtown. She is ready to serve Washington and the surrounding community. We've had some thunderstorms this morning and it remains mostly cloudy. The high for today is 88 and the low is 63. Tomorrow we can expect mostly sunny skies and a high of 82. Wednesday there'll be even more sun, a high of 80 and a low of 55. Thursday the clouds will start to make a return but remain mostly sunny and a high of only 77, so that fall weather is slowly approaching. We will start Labor Day weekend Friday with partly cloudy skies and a high of 76. That was the weather. It is now time for sports.
Sports, brought to you by Fairway.
Football season kicked off last Friday. Back in 2021, Burlington got the better of Washington in the two regular season clash. Things were a bit different when the two went head-to-head to mark the beginning of the 2022 football season on Friday night. This time around, it was Washington suppressing an early ground attack to hold on for a 21-14 victory. Burlington wasted no time in its opening drive. The Greyhounds leisurely marched the ball down the field, eventually punching it in from 14 yards out for a 6-0 lead. The Demons were slow to get things rolling on the offensive end, beginning with a 3-and-out. With the Greyhounds getting the ball back, they were in perfect position to take a commanding lead, but everything changed. The Greyhounds began to march the ball once again, but fumbled just before the end of the first quarter. Following that turnover, it was all Washington. Starting at their own 16, the Demons moved the ball down the field, capping off the drive with a 25-yard touchdown run by Taven Stewart. With a successful extra point, Washington took a 7-6 lead. Washington's 14th points of the game came a drive later after yet another Burlington fumble put them down in great field position. This time, Stewart took it in from 5 yards out to make it 14-6. To start the second half, the Demons threw an interception, but nothing came of it as Washington's defense forced the Greyhounds to punt. On the next drive, Stewart handled the finishing touchdown once again, rushing it in for another 5-yard score, making it 21-6. It wasn't over yet, though. With a lofted ball over the middle of the field on 4th and 14, Burlington scored from 30 yards out and completed the 2-point conversion to cut the lead to 21-14. Burlington got the ball back one final time with just over a minute to play, but back-to-back fumbles and a big sack on 4th down by Washington allowed the Demons to take the victory formation. The big plays really hurt us all of last year, but our defense really stood tall tonight, Washington head coach Nick Arrett said. We're rotating a lot of guys to try and keep them fresh, and we controlled the line of scrimmage as the game went on. We have a lot of inexperience on the defense, and at times we showed our youth, but I was really proud with their resolve and grit. They got stops when they needed them, and that is important. The Demons finished with 269 yards of total offense on the night. Taven Stewart would finish with 3 touchdowns and 120 yards. Jude Brown followed Stewart with 61 rushing yards on 7 carries. Quarterback Ethan Patterson finished with 52 yards on 8 carries. Washington is now 1-0, and they will take on Southeast Conference foe Mount Pleasant, who is 0-1 on the road in its next game. Looking at volleyball now, Thursday marked the beginning of the 2022 volleyball season for both Washington and Mid-Prairie. When all was said and done in the non-conference Class 3A bout, it was number 14 Golden Hawks walking away with a 3-set victory, 25-16, 25-15, and 25-16. Pasha led the Golden Hawks with 7 kills. Fellow senior Ella Grunwald tallied 6, and freshman Jovi Evans followed with 5. Evans also racked up a team-best 16 assists. Pasha also had 11 assists. Dakota Mitchell, Mid-Prairie sophomore libero, had the highest amount of digs with 16. We knew that we would have to play our best, Washington head coach Aaron Six said. We had opportunities at the net that we were inconsistent on, and some of that too is we were a little slow on our block at times, which makes it harder on our back row to judge that. Those are things we need to continue to work on. We see some signs of great things to come. That is the news for Washington and the surrounding area today. I've been your host, Nick Steffens. This is the Southeast Iowa Union Newsbreak, and I will see you next time.